look at this from Noah Hickey. He beats the goalkeeper and for some inexplicable reason decides not to put the ball into the back of the net.
Archie ball played back again for Huddle. With a cross. Oh! Ginola.
See that, girls? Not a flash now, is he? The miss is bad, but this jump is criminal.
Support. Now in the centre, there's Barnes! How did he miss that?
Well, he thought he was playing for England. Ah, now this was the Sheffield United attack that finally convinced Sean Bean that when Saturday comes looked realistic. In fact, it was during this scramble that Andy Gray's virtual reality computer finally blew up.
We should score here!
This bloke was playing for Fiorentina in Serie A when he missed from 12 inches. You never saw Gary Lineker do that. Watch this Spanish centre-forward playing for Real Betis against Santander. Now we know why the Spanish are cruel to donkeys.
Would you like your friend to stay to tea, dear?
Oh yes, please, Mrs. Death.
Please, call me Pestilence. It's in the tomb when you want it, dear.
There is nothing worse than being interrupted in the middle of a game, is there?
Bobby Robson wears the carefree expression of a successful international manager. However, it seems that Barcelona president Núñez will go to any lengths to get him out of the Barca bus stop. Even doing a player swap deal with the Apache Indians for their chief big drum banging. If you look carefully, the fan actually doesn't get the ball at all. He was later identified as Keith Curl.
And here's the first contest. It is not enough that evening for committing yourself early to the challenge. The tackle was high.
Now, presumably this woman is a fan of Atletico Madrid. I say this, one, because she's wearing red and white, and two, because she's banging together two of Ron Atkinson's old cufflinks. Now, I think this game's Sheffield United against Stoke, and if it's the one I'm thinking of, those weren't the only two tits on the pitch that night. Now, David Baddiel's attempts to get noticed at matches are getting worse, although to be fair, his mum did make him wear this to avoid the chances of getting salmonella from Chelsea's pies. For anyone unfamiliar with semaphore, this man is saying, never ever buy a big flag. They're a bugger to dry and you miss half the game waving them round like this. Also, everyone hates you. Oh, and it's even worse. The tackler's wearing Predators. Well, that'll help, mate. Even a simple throw-in can prove dangerous. And slightly ridiculous. Smudged his mascara. And indeed, it later dislodged his shoulder pad. This is one of my personal favourites. Watch this player as he goes down, felled by Paul Ince's aftershave. Ince is 8 yards away, but having aftershave that strong is deemed in Italy to be ungentlemanly conduct. Football has brought us many bizarre sights. Here's the famous occasion last year when a game was played using all of Manchester United's kits at the same time. Here, he gleefully heads into the West Ham goal. His teammates seem upset, but Dowie's quite happy.
Wallace going through quickly. It's lifted back towards Cantona. And Gale didn't really know what he was doing.
Well, he did. His manager had told him to do anything to stop Cantona scoring. Still, at least he's got his looks. Here we go. A diving own goal from Steve Jenkins of Huddersfield. Always a bigger threat to the Huddersfield goal than either Peter Undlov or Mike Newell.
Against Ian Walker, who can dance on his line, and Sheringham hits the post and he can't play it as he comes back.
Sheringham 0. Dumbo 1. In fact, I know that no referee I've ever seen could deal with this, and I'm not sure that a NATO peacekeeping force could either. Apparently the brawl was started when a South Londoner in the crowd shouted, "It's an early bath for you, Cantona." The Jamaicans find that this is a common occurrence during their games, and are so laid back that even in the middle of the fight, this bloke's going to have a bit of a sit down. The Jamaican FA, though, are quids in. They never have to buy any beers for their opponents after the game. There was also a nasty moment involving the cameraman when the players discovered that the rights to the game had been sold to Channel 5. Things escalated when it turned out that one of the players had borrowed the other's hairdryer. Look, it's Steve Stone and William Hague.
Not enough!
Now here's a hint for club chairmen everywhere. It is a false economy, repeat, false economy, to make advertising hoardings from bread. Diego Maradona was a great hero in Spain, but it's true to say that more than one game was called off by his terrible bouts of sneezing. One unnatural disaster occurred at White Hart Lane on a particularly hot night. The wagon wheels melted at the refreshment stall.
He has now. It's gone in!
Rovers. Now, what were the odds against that happening? Now, I'm not sure where this one comes from, but by the look of the crowd, I'd say the Scottish Second Division. Although from the look of the football, it's probably the Premier. Definitely the Premier. The goalkeeper's squad number is 67. Apparently, Peter Shilton is his understudy, but can't kick well enough. Atalanta's keeper here would really be better deployed on the bench. The really tragic thing about this clip is I bet those two argued about who actually scored the own goal. I didn't, it was going wide. Have a gander at this linesman. We don't know his name, but looking at this, you wouldn't be surprised to hear that he was delighted that both teams had come out at the start of the second half. This defender said he just wanted to check if Valderrama's pubic hair was as stupid as the rest of it. However, it turns out he's got his gelled back in a side parting. This guy's been supporting Cadiz FC for 30 years, which isn't that impressive when you think that he's 109. His wife knitted him the hat in the hope that it'd roast his brain in the harsh Spanish sun. The wool was bought by public donation. He claims that a Cadiz goal is better than sex for him and demonstrates his favourite method.